I did some consulting for a company like that, and Walmart was one of their clients. They typically had 2 3 year deals. And Walmart says, okay, over the next 2 years, I'm going to buy 5 million sets a year from you at this price in dollar terms. So if your currency appreciates and Walmart is not going to start buying more from you because they already made a deal with you. Or if your currency appreciates, they still have to buy that amount. I mean, Walmart is kind of a little bit bastardly. Uh, when Turkish currency depreciated quite a bit in 2001, they came to this company that I was consulting for, and they said, okay, your currency depreciated by about 50%. So you guys are making a lot of money. So you're going to give me some of that benefit. But if you're not Walmart, you can't do stuff like that. But after a while, uh, the current account improves. Again, the speed at which that J initially deteriorates, but then goes up, starts going up, depends on the mix of your goods and services. Now, the financial account part, it's basically the difference between US sales of assets to foreigners and US purchase of foreign assets. Basically, two major types: foreign direct investment, when an investor acquires a measure of control. If a Japanese company comes and buys 51% of Google, there is a control there. Because selling 51% of Google is not that easy. But if you buy 1% of Google, you can pretty much sell that in a day or two without affecting the price too much. You can also sell 51% of Google in the market, but you probably would have to take a big haircut in order to do that. Portfolio investments, sales of financial assets, stocks, bonds, and they do not involve control. The others are transactions in currency, bank deposits, trade credits, etc. We already talked about this. A lot of it is unrecorded transactions or statistical estimation errors. Even exports and imports are based on estimates. The overall balance, if you add up current account, capital account, financial account, and statistical discrepancy, if there is no activity on the official reserve, the overall balance actually has to be zero. The official reserves accounts are basically transactions in these: gold, foreign currencies, any reserve positions you may have in IMF, the so-called special drawing rights. These are kind of reserve positions in IMF. The SDR is kind of a basket of currencies. This is the balance sheet identity. In the absence of uh, oh, balance sheet identity. Some of the current accounts, capital account, financial account, and reserve account has to be zero. Basically, capital, financial, and reserves are financing any current account deficit. Or if you have a current account surplus, they tell you where those go. When exchange rates are flexible, there is no reason you have to keep too much reserves unless you want to be able to handle any potential attacks on your currency, especially if you're a relatively small country and your currency may be volatile and you don't want those. If somebody attacks your currency, that means they're selling your currency, buying foreign currency. If you don't want that to happen, you sell reserves to these people. It's in a sense intervention. So for countries whose currencies cannot be considered kind of a international reserve assets, dollar, euro, pounds, yen, Swiss franc, and so on, it's not a bad idea for them to keep official reserves. In fact, if the official reserves are low, that makes the currency rather susceptible to any potential attacks. We'll look at the recent numbers, but just to go through these slides, U.S. has been experiencing current account deficits for quite a while, and surpluses on the financial account. And Japan, on the other hand, they have current account surpluses. They export more stuff abroad, mainly to Europe and US, and they buy. Even as yen rose in value, uh, they kept through it. I mean, nowadays, yen is at half the value it was in 1989 relative to dollar. UK, these days, they have current account deficits. Germany traditionally had current account surpluses, except for between pretty much most of the 90s. Can you guess why? Huh? No, no, no. Why do you think they had current account deficits between 91 and 2001? Yes. Yes, reunification. As the Soviet Union fell, the formerly East and West Germany, or as their official names, Federal Republic of Germany, FDR, and DDR, Democratic uh, Republic of Germany, they unified. Of course, East Germany was rather poor, so they had to do a lot of investments there, which means Germany had to import quite a bit. Plus, East Germany wasn't exporting that much. But now, they don't have that issue. I mean, they even made it so simple. If you had one Ostmark, which was the East German mark, they said, okay, that's equal to one Deutschmark. That was it. But the incomes were so low in East Germany to begin with, it didn't matter too much. And China uh, tends to have a surplus on the current account, but at least until recently, they even had surpluses on the financial account. Normally, those two are of different sign. One of the reasons that's the case, China uses its reserves account quite a bit to, I'm not going to say manipulate, to massage the level of their exchange rate. I mean, normally, let's look at the numbers. Current account surplus of China over the years. Let's see if we can get a graph. So since 1998. Back in 98, it was about $50 billion. Now it went as high as 1.51 trillion. Now it's down to 400. Okay. If you have that kind of current accounts surpluses, that money has to go somewhere, right? In most countries, that money goes abroad.